Happy March 1st. I just wanted to be the first to say that if I could be. New month, and new opportunities, and maybe some new stuff that's not really new, that's left over from behind. But it is always refreshing to me to see a new month. I always consider it like this new start over or new do-over or whatever. I even consider new weeks like that because that's the way I have been counseled to calculate that in my brain. I see a therapist who, or used to, he's released me because I've been deemed sane. That may be, I don't know. Well, debatable. Okay, we'll call it debatable. But, look at everything as new because everything is new. Even the next day is new. And it doesn't mean it has to be the same as yesterday. Last weekend, I would have never thought, and if you had told me that I was going to have the night I had tonight, I probably would have slapped you and called you a liar. But that's how much I knew. And things turned around fast, and for Lee and I, and we went out and had a really good time tonight. I probably had a better time, to be honest. But I didn't do anything I was ashamed of. I had a lot of fun, and like I said, it's the first time I felt normal, and I don't know when. I haven't felt normal since my stroke. I call it a stroke. Some people call it a hemorrhage. Some people call it an aneurysm. Doesn't matter what it is. My brain blew up. There you go. And I was fortunate enough to wake up from it. I was fortunate enough to see another day. So that's new beginnings to me. And even though I had to relearn how to walk, how to talk, how to relate to people, even people that were closest to me, I had to relearn how to do all that, and I did. And a lot of that was by the grace of God, and a lot of that was hard work on my part. It was not easy. So every day is a new opportunity. But I would have never thought that Lee and I would be going out this weekend, sharing the time we had together tonight and having a good time and enjoying ourselves, and him letting me cut loose. And he did. He didn't say a word. He just let me do what I wanted to do and laughed at me, which I like being laughed at. That doesn't bother me. If I can bring humor to somebody and make them smile, then I've done my job for the day, right? Because that's the only job I have. And my job is to make people happy, to make them feel better, to make them feel more safe and secure if they're people that are close to me and they feel lost and alone or whatever. And that should be your job too. So that's what we do in a brotherhood or sisterhood. We look out for one another. And that's basically what Christianity should be about, is looking out for one another. Not just those we like, not just those that look like us, not just those that live in the same country as us, but we should be looking out for all humanity, period, and trying to make the best of a situation that may not be the best at all. And so that's what Lee and I did, and I'm really glad we stepped out and did that. I did put up an announcement about moving my videos over to YouTube. It's kind of to take the relief off of people who are on my friends list that may not really enjoy my videos and would rather scroll by and not watch them for whatever reason and all that. So I just decided, let's do it this way and see how it works. It may not work out at all. If I don't get enough subscribers, I won't fool with it. And if I do get enough subscribers, I will. But I hope you do subscribe. And I hope not only you subscribe, but, I hope that we can all participate. I don't want this to be a one-woman show. That's not what it's about. I am not a one-woman show here at my home, and I'm not a one-woman show out there in the world, and I'm not a one-woman show anywhere. And I don't want to be. I love participation. I love hearing what people think. Even if they don't agree with me, I still love to know what you think. You don't have to agree with me. To me, that's one of my greatest, what's the word for it? Here I go. One of my greatest attributes is the fact that I can get along with you, love you, do what I need to do for you if I need to do anything for you, and you allow me to do it, whether you agree with me or not, or whether I agree with you or not. It doesn't matter. And it shouldn't matter to you. It should only matter that we are doing what we are taught in the Bible to do. So I hope you follow me. And, if you don't, I won't be mad. Subscribers will be kept private. I do that. I chose that for a reason. And I'll know who you are, but other people won't know who you are. And I do that for your own privacy, to be perfectly honest. I do that because a lot of times people are on YouTube or TikTok or whatever you can think of. There's so many mediums right now out there. But a lot of people will steal your name, and they'll make an account that's fake, and they will take off with that. So one of the biggest reasons I do keep things private is because I don't want that happening to any of my viewers. I know what it's like. It happened to me. I got it settled fast. Facebook did that for me, but still, it was not pleasant to know that somebody had done that to me, and I never knew who it was. I had some suspicions, but suspicions are just that. They're suspicions. They're not anything that you can put your money on and say, this is the person who violated my privacy, and I don't appreciate it. I want something done about it. So, but it does, unfortunately, happen. So the best thing to do, and I have found a lot of YouTubers do this, is keep their people private. And I think that is the best decision. I think if you allow all of your followers, whether you have 20 or you have 20 million like some of you guys have, if you allow all those names out there, you're opening up your own guest to violations. So think about that. If you're doing that, look at your settings and see what you have going on there, and see if you're allowing people to violate not just your privacy, but possibly somebody else's. And I don't want to be the cause that somebody's privacy has been violated. I just don't want to do that. I feel great tonight. A lot of it is thanks to the dopamine patch. I'm going to go into that a little later on YouTube, but it's a really tremendous thing when you can take somebody who has been not feeling any better than I've been feeling and put a patch on them, and they suddenly feel better, and they suddenly want to get up, showered, dressed, take care of the animals, take care of the house, get up, get out, and when they have gone from that or to that from 18 months of doing nothing and not wanting to do anything because they just don't have the energy, that makes a difference. So I'm a big believer in the dopamine patch. I did not get permission from my oncologist to use the dopamine patch. I did not ask him what he thought. I just decided to research it myself and see, if there could be any consequences. I didn't find any. That doesn't mean there aren't any, but I just don't think there are. If I find there are, I'll take it off and I won't use it again. But I hope that, it works out well for me. As I told the story today on Facebook about, I asked Lee, what do you think about the difference in me? Don't ask a man that. Oh my God, please tell him what you're talking about, because they don't know. They really don't know. And they don't mean any harm. They just don't know. I could have asked a woman that, and she could have told me in 2 heartbeats what I was talking about. And especially someone like Gwen, who's close to me and knows how I look, what I wear, especially on my face and things like that. She could have picked it out quickly, and she could have said, well, I think that's too much, too little, I don't think that's the right shade for you, or whatever. But she wouldn't have come back with, oh yeah, I can see where your hair is thinning out. But it was funny to me. It didn't make me mad. It was funny to me because he had no clue what I was talking about, and it was obvious, and he said all the wrong things, but he didn't mean it in all the wrong ways. And I think we need to look at that. When people answer us crazy, or we think it sounds crazy, just remember, and especially if you're talking about the opposite sex, men in general, give them a little grace, because they don't know. They really don't know. They don't know anything about eyeshadow. They don't know anything about mascara or eyebrows or anything like that, or blush. They just don't know. I mean, there I was, full makeup. Well, no foundation at all. But the rest of it, okay, I had it on, and he didn't get it. So, anyway, it's cool. You just, like I say, offer them grace, because they can't help the fact that they don't get it. It's just who they are versus who we are. But I did find it funny, and also it reminded me of an episode between Edith and Archie Bunker on All in the Family, and it was hilarious. It just reminded me more how much we are like Edith and Archie Bunker. Sometimes I think if we taped our day as a daily, day in and day out, we could make an episode. We could not just make an episode, we could make a show. We just don't have Norman Lear anymore to make it great. But the oppositeness is definitely there. But anyway, we wanted to go to the warehouse. That didn't work out. There was too many people there. The wait was too long. It was going to be an hour. And so we decided to move on to Longhorn Steakhouse, because we wanted steak, and he really wanted it at the warehouse, but didn't work out. And we might as well have stayed at the warehouse and just have waited an hour, because that's basically what we got where we went. It's Saturday night, it's Monroe, it's busy, and that's a good thing. That's not a bad thing. I miss it very badly. I miss living in Monroe and West Monroe area due to the busyness, due to the long traffic, due to all that. I do miss it, because to me, that was, I don't know, it was fun. I didn't take it as anything impatient or anything like that. I was always glad to see traffic and lights in the dark and things like that. So, but we live where we live, and we picked out what we picked out, and God was in that, and He's been good, because everything is, paid off. The sunroom, we wrote a check the day it was finished, and so we owe nothing here. We live completely free here, other than utilities, and so what a blessing, right? I mean, how can you beat that? So I do miss it in some ways, missing it, living in Monroe or West Monroe, but we're right where we're supposed to be. Like I told you the other night, wherever you are, you're right where you're supposed to be. even if it feels like you're not where you're supposed to be. But anyway, I would like to see you guys follow me. I would like to see you guys engage. Don't be afraid. Stop being shy. Y'all are so shy. And I'm not. But don't be shy. Speak up. Speak your mind. Like I said, I don't mind any subject being discussed as long as it's respectable, and I think we all know what I mean by that. But even politics can be discussed as long as it stays on a plateau of a respectable level where each person is respecting the other, not necessarily agreeing with the other. I hope I don't wind up in a bind doing that, but because people get really agitated quickly about politics, no matter which side you're on, right or left or somewhere in the middle, kind of like me. Some days I feel like a Republican, some days I feel like a Democrat, and some days I don't feel like any of you people. But overall, why can't we have discourse and conversation and get along and prove that we can do that we're not all idiots and that we're not all mean to one another? And so I really do hope that there is a discourse here, whether it's about politics or cooking or makeup or wigs. My wig makes a big difference in how I look. And Leah's right, my hair is coming out again. So the chemo did it this time. It got me. It's okay. It's hair. It'll grow back. Don't worry about it. That's what I tell myself. Don't worry about it. It's hair. It'll grow back. It's grown back before 2 or 3 times. It'll grow back again. It's coming. But, you know, when you get a big thing of chemo, you're going to have some hair loss. And that's the bottom line. But anyway, we did have a very good husband and wife date tonight, and it was very beneficial to our marriage to do that, and it was more beneficial for him to just allow me to be me, because he knew I haven't been out in 18 months. I've been out of the house, but I haven't really been anywhere. So, not to speak of. So, you know, this was different for me, and it was important to me. And I felt so good. I felt so full of energy. And I wanted to be nice to everybody there, except the people who stunk, who were next to me. Oh my God. It's like, if you have BO, don't you know you have BO? Does somebody really have to tell you that? Does somebody have to really tell you, hey, soap is not that expensive. If you can't afford it, I can buy it. A little deodorant is not that expensive, but if you can afford it, I'll buy it. But you need to go home, and you need to start over and then get back out. And I really wanted to tell somebody that tonight, because, you know, Lee had a person sitting next to him that stunk to high heaven. I had a person sitting next to me that stunk to high heaven. They were both men, of course, and, you know, I'm sorry, but men just have more BO than women, and most women are more careful about that kind of thing, and more, I don't know, in tune with their bodies. There's nothing wrong with being in tune with their body. That's a good thing. But these dudes were not in tune with their body, and if they were, then they knew they stunk, and they didn't care, and that's nasty. But I didn't say anything. I was a good girl, kept my mouth shut, didn't want my teeth knocked down my throat. And so, you know, hopefully somebody will tell them, hey, dude, you stink. But sometimes you feel like you really ought to have the right to say that to somebody. And especially if you're having to sit next to them and drink a drink or whatever. But anyway, I'm excited, and I don't know why, but I am excited. I'm excited about a lot of things, but I really, really, really want you guys to subscribe to my YouTube channel, and I don't want 1,000,000 subscribers or even 1,000 or whatever. Just a community of people who talk, who chat, who feel free to say something without being rude and offensive. We can always find a way to say something without being nasty to one another. That is one of the biggest things I've learned since my stroke. Well, some people call it a brain stroke. Some people call it a hemorrhage. Some people call it an aneurysm. It doesn't matter what it is. It doesn't matter what you call it. It is what it was. And that is, it was just a massive brain bleed. And I'm blessed that I got through it. And so I, call it what you want to. But I'm just going to call it a stroke from here on out, because that's kind of what it was, because it left me paralyzed. It left me where I couldn't speak, and I had to relearn everything like I was a baby. And basically I kind of was. I couldn't even eat like a normal person. I had to be spoon-fed by a nurse. And if Lee was there, he had to spoon-feed me. And I couldn't suck from a straw and things like that. It's funny looking back on it now, because it's funny when you stop to think about how few things you can do if your brain is not functioning properly. And, and if it is functioning properly, we think nothing of it. So, just be grateful. If your brain's functioning properly, thank God, move on about your business. But anyway, I do hope you follow me. But if you don't, I won't be offended. And that's the main message I have. I'm not going to be offended. But it might hurt my feelings. And I just, I don't want the channel to be about leukemia. We've kind of ran that in the ground. If there's updates, I'll do them. Or Lee will do them. But there's no need. We all know what happened. We all know what's going on. We all know I'm in remission. And so, no need in, beating that horse to death. So, that's not what it's about. And I hope if you come over, you find out what it's about. But tonight really was spectacular. And all we did was go out and eat. That's all we did. We didn't even get to go see the movie. And that's okay, because we had so much fun. There was no reason to go see a movie. And we'll catch it another time. But tonight wasn't the night for it. I didn't even come home tired and all. So I came home after all that completely energetic and full of positivity and fun. And got a chance to talk to my best friend today, and had a chance to talk to her since yesterday. And to me, that's a long time. And because I have to keep up with her. I'm nosy. I want to know what's going on in her life, and she better be telling me. And she knows who she is. So, let's just get together and have a good time over there if we can. And yes, God, yeah. See, look at this. I am definitely losing my hair. But tonight I wore the cap that you put on. I wore a headband that you put on. And then I put the wig on. And I was like, this is just too much pressure. It was hot. and not worth it. And so you probably won't ever see me in that wig again. It is hot. It's ridiculously hot. If I'm going somewhere where it really matters, which is probably nowhere, then I'll put it on. But otherwise, I probably will not put it on, even though it improves me 10,000 times over. But if I'm uncomfortable and I don't feel comfortable with me being, like I don't feel like I'm being me, I'm not interested in that. I am only interested in me being me. What you see is what you get, no matter what that is. And those who know me best, like Gwen, like Richard, people like that, those who know me best know that what you see is what you get, nothing more, nothing less, and that's just never going to change. So, also, I wanted to add that even though Christianity/religion might be mentioned on this channel, it is not about that either. It's not about any one particular thing. I'm hoping that we can explore different things, have laughs, have fun, and have participation. Don't be scared. Ain't nobody gonna bite you. I will beat them up if they do. Okay? So have a good night. Sleep tight. And I hope you have a great day tomorrow.